Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Facebook Live. It is the 29th of November, year 2023. We here in the United States have just returned from our Thanksgiving break. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know we did. It was quite peaceful. And let me go over the panel. Today I have April, who is a psychic, has quite a few modalities of healing under her belt. And welcome back, April. I know most of you know who April is. And then Kelly and Kelly are on, but they don't have the video on. So hopefully they'll turn on their video. Kelly and Kelly are Qigong teachers. They've had 30 years of Qigong plus spiritual work, so spiritual teaching as well. So, and then we have Patricia, who's part of our whole group of meditators. Good evening, Patricia. April, I wanted to, while I'm tagging everyone, can you do me a favor and talk about your workshop? I know it's on the 17th. I know I need to register for it. I'll do it this weekend. But if you want to talk about the workshop, hey, Kelly. Just to remind everyone to join the workshop. Thank you.
Yeah, so me and Kelly, we've joined together to hold another, like a mini workshop. It's about 2 hours. I think we always kind of go over. We kind of overgive, right? We like to overgive. But it's for the winter solstice, and we are it's what is it, 17th? So that's a Sunday. So it's a Sunday, afternoon. It's a good way to spend a Sunday afternoon in the wintertime. And we're going to be working on, we're breaking it down right now, exactly what we want to address. It evolves. We kind of listen to the universe and see what it tells us. But the winter time is, for most of us, it kind of slows down, and if you're where I live, it freezes. Like completely, we're frozen. But going inside and learning to feel safe with going inside and looking at yourself inside, looking at, what are some things that you need to heal in there, and having us with you to help you learn how to do that and feel safe doing it. Because so many of us, one of the reasons that our healing kind of has a slow pace in the beginning is because we're afraid. So that's kind of, and then helping you to heal some of those spaces and shift some of those spaces. So those are some of the things that we were looking at. And then Kelly is here; she can expand on it. But it's always great when we get together, either with the panel or with Kelly, and we're able to share this energy and share this insight and healing. And quite frankly, we just love it. It's like, it's so fun. This is where they say, like, work doesn't feel like work. It's just so fun and exciting. So we're excited. Coming up.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that introduction. Hopefully everyone is signing up for the workshop. Based on that, remember 2 or 3 weeks ago, Patricia, you wanted to ask April the question, why does she talk about numbers and certain dates, like 1-1 or 11-1 or something like that? You want to ask her that question? Because she's here today, and then Kelly, you can also weigh in, because both of them, like, I don't believe in numbers, or I don't have any of those. It's this time of the year, or this is the equator, or this is equinox, or whatever Francesca says, right? Oh, it's now the eclipse, or now the lunar moon, or whatever. Nothing matters to me. It's like every day is the same. So I'll let you ask the question. Thank you.
Yes, hi. So good to see you all. So I think it came out because Dr. Joe Dispenza had the Walk for the World
on the 11th of November, 11th, and then at 11 o'clock. But this 11 o'clock was for us here in the east of the United States, the Eastern time. Like I know for you it was 10 o'clock. And I mean, there's other calendars. Like according to Jewish calendar, it wasn't even November 11th. It's like a different number. So does that matter because we put meaning to it, or there is like a universal meaning of numbers? But how is it that, like, for some of us the numbers are significant, 11 11 11, but what if for someone else those numbers are not the same? Is it still working? So that was basically my question. Just curious. Thank you.
So that is kind of like a little trick question you asked there. And I think Kelly or Ann Kelly would probably be better. Like he probably would give us some really in-depth answer that we would all be like, ah, okay. However, it's still the same time for you. So even though like right now it's 8 p.m. for me and it's 9 p.m. for somebody else, that movement in the alignment, it's still the same time. So it's still 11:11 for them. But like what you're talking, so like across the world, it would be almost like the day before, right? If it was like in Switzerland or, so that's a good question. I don't know. I would have to think about that. I really would have to stop and think. And I think that one of the Kellys probably has the answer. I'm not really an astrologer. I'm not, don't really do numerology. Like I do it, but it's not like my specialty. But the planets and the alignment is where the numbers come from. Where the planets are, where the moon is, where not only just our solar system and how it rotates on its elliptical, the other solar systems, and they all have different masses, they all have different energy, they all actually have their own, like Earth has its own heartbeat, so do these other planets. They have their own energy and gravitational pull, and that has an effect on us. It truly does have an effect on us. And that whole system is based off of numbers. So really the whole matrix is based off of numbers, honestly. It's really math.
I know mathematicians have even the talk that Poonam shared with us of Robert, what's his name, Poonam? Robert, oh my God, drawing a blank, the one that does
Robert Edward Grant and Matthias
Grant,
yeah. Polymath, yep. Yeah, polymath, and how certain geometry
is geometry,
specific pyramids, and how, yeah, that's fascinating. How
it's really all about math, and everything is actually an equation. I'm not a mathematician, but it is all about math, and it is all about numbers. Now, 11:11 was a special portal that was here. One of the things that, and so I will look up certain numbers, certain dates to see, like for this winter solstice, because we are hosting it and we always want to provide the best that we can at that time for you guys. I will look it up and I will research it. What does that mean? What does it mean specifically for 2023 based off of where Earth is in 2023? Where Earth is in 23 is different than where it's going to be in 24, 25, 26, right? So it does, they do have specific meaning. Now, 11:11, one of the things I was watching on was there are these beings that are called the blue avian beings, and there was a specific portal opening on 11/11 for them. So I was keeping my eye on that date for that reason, but I noticed that other people were aware of that portal because not only did Joe Dispenza do it, but some other people did it. Diana Cooper did it. Tim Wilde did it. A bunch of other people, groups, did it to try to heal the planet that day. So the numbers and the dates are important. It has to do with astrology, where the planets are, and many other things. They are important. And it's just like, you know, like I spent the last few weeks kind of feeling heavy and kind of slow. And it was where like my connection was there, but it's almost like you have to kind of work harder for it. But then yesterday, bam, it just like shifted. I was like, oh, wow, right?
Because
It
of the
was-
full moon, maybe, no?
because the energy shifts. The energy shifts, the planet shifts, the gravity shifts, the solar flares from the sun change, Earth, Schumann resonance, heartbeat changes, and this all actually is math. So it does have an effect on us. We do feel it. And like yesterday, I just felt this lift. It was like, oh, thank God, like whatever that was, it's over. So when we have big Schumann resonances or big solar flares, you can feel that heaviness or that slowness, or you can feel sick or all these different kinds of things. And I don't think we really notice that. It's just like the tide in the moon, right? That has an effect on us. So the other people that are here can probably, they can give us more information, but it is important. It does affect us.
Thank
And
you.
I do kindly pay attention to it. Like I said, it's not my specialty, but I do pay attention to. Now, if you're seeing numbers like 11/11, 4/4/4, I had a 2-week period where I woke up every day in the middle of the night, and it was either 3:30 or 4:40, and those numbers mean something specifically. It is the universe's way of giving you a signal. I had a girlfriend that wrote me who kind of believes, doesn't really believe. And she said, hey, I'm seeing 222 everywhere. So I said, well, let's look it up, because if you're seeing it everywhere, then it's a sign.
Angels, right? Something about
Yes,
angel.
different types of universal messages. Yeah.
I get to see lately, the last few times, since I think Lakshmi explained to repeat certain affirmations that mantras that she gave us 108 times, 108, and that the number has a meaning. So I'm seeing a lot of those 108 number in different combinations. I get to work many times at 801 or 811, then at 108, I see that, all of a sudden I look at that, what time, it's 108, something like this. So it's been.
So that's significant for you. That's not a combination that I've heard of very much, but did you look it up? So I would look up spiritual meaning for the number 108 or the number 1. Like 1 is new beginnings. I do know that. 8 is another
Infinity. So
infinity.
Lakshmi explained to us that 1 is for the oneness, like oneness of everything. 0 is nothingness, emptiness. That's what spiritually we try to accomplish, going into that void, being 0, nothing, empty. And number 8 is infinity. That symbolizes in math the infinity, of the.
Right. 1 is also new beginnings. So, and 8 is like 9 is the last. 9 is like a finishing stage. So 8 is like just before that. So you could look them up that way too.
Thank you.
And was there a post from April's Facebook group page that you read, and you saw some number and you were like wondering why she posted about that? Patricia? That's how you talked about numbers. You said you saw a post that April said it's 11-1. What was on 11-1, April? And then you posted why 11-1 was important. And I was like, I have no idea because I don't follow any numbers or dates or eclipses or full moon but I do see like when people complain about psychological issues that I go, oh, it was full moon. That's why they were having these. Kelly has a chart.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was 11-1 or was it the 11-11 that I
It was
posted?
11-1. I remember because she brought it up in the next Wednesday meeting, and but you had not attended because of your
my daughter. I forgot that. So I don't know, Patricia, if you want to like comment on it, I can re-look at it because I'm not sure. I'll have to
If you look at it, let's go to Kelly and then Patricia, when I come to you, look it up and tell us, what did you read? By the way, April, I started listening to Dolores Cannon.
Oh, yeah.
Her lectures, and now I'm listening to one of her books. I'm going to do the Nostradamus book too, because you mentioned her. So let's go to Kelly. Kelly, thank you so much, April. Always grateful.
Well, I have a little chart here on my computer. Like 111 is, it says intuition encourages you to keep following your spirit. You're on the right path. If you see this, listen to your gut and your heart. 222, so 222, the right one. It's the right place at the right time. Trust in what you want. Don't think of things you don't want when you see this number. 333 is the equilibrium, mind, body, and spirit. Focus on all three aspects. Don't neglect one for the other when you see this number. 444 is the protection. The universe and your spiritual guides are protecting you. Pay attention to your thoughts and your environment when you see this number. 555 is the change. A change is occurring. The universe is moving things around when you see this number. The step back, take a step back to rethink it and ask if yourself is doing what is right or wrong. 777 is the inner strength. Release all fear. Be strong at heart. Look forward to the future with excitement when you see this number. 888, the balance. This one's hard to read. Hold on, I'm gonna have to come closer to my screen. You're in harmony with the universe. Your thoughts and actions are also in harmony when you see this number. And 999 is the wrap up. Time to start a new journey, wrap up loose ends, let go of what does not serve you, prepare for the next level when you see these numbers. I can take the photo too and put it in the comments of the Facebook Live.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Yeah. I have that on my computer because I always look if I start seeing like numbers in a row. Yeah, numbers are interesting because I look too. I'm kind of like April. Astrology is not that's not my forte, but I do, if I feel different energies, or it feels heavy today or something, I'll go and look and see, because there are a couple of astrologers that I follow. So I'll go and take a look at what they say. And there's usually like a portal of someday, like a lot of times, like having numbers, when it's like 2020, 2020, those are, times to pay attention to the energy, what's happening, how it makes your body feel, things like that. But it also, you don't have to, like at the beginning when we were talking, you also don't have to adhere to things so much. Like even though the December 21st is supposed to be the official day of solstice this year. I think it's the 21st. We're having a gathering on the 17th. So, but very often I'll feel the energy coming in for that beforehand. Like I'll feel it maybe 5 days before. So you don't necessarily have to think that that one day is the most powerful day and you can't miss it, because the energies are always come in before and then they're available to you after as well. For some people, that specific day can be very powerful. It can be very powerful. For some people, you'll just feel it, ahead of time, or you'll feel it after. So there's a lot. It does mean something because it's a good way to mark on the calendar, but also that if someone's doing it at 10:10 in the United States on the 10th day, well, someone from Australia can still be experiencing it as well, but it's on a different date. So it's just, when you think about how time doesn't exist anywhere else in the universe the same as it does here, it doesn't really matter when you get the energy, because you'll get it as, you know, the earth's turning, things are moving. So it's not like it has to be like, oh no, I have to be there at that exact time to get it, because you'll still get it. But it's good to pay attention to those things, because then you start to understand how they affect your body too.
Awesome. Incredible. Thank you so much, Kelly and April.
And that's
Uh,
interesting too, because like if you've ever watched a YouTube video where it's a clearing or it's something and it was done on a specific day, but you
Mhm.
can still get that energy now because that energy is there. It's in the collective conscious, it's in the universe. So it doesn't have to be on the exact day.
Is
either.
it that true? Yeah, I found actually, April, your post was good. It was tonight, November 1/111 portal, a rare, powerful energy portal shifting our whole realities, the beginning of living the life your soul planned, bringing miracles beyond you could ever imagine, deep transformation, fresh beginnings, clearing all limitations, manifestations, blockages, and negative karma, your true self emerging, instant manifestation of true heart desires and destinies. This energy portal continues 2 months till January 11th, 2024. During this time, your whole life transforms, prosperity, satisfaction, happiness, so forth. So that's what I said. It's like, oh, so what if, there is a different calendar? This is according our calendar, but you have other calendars on this earth living, people, whole cultures living according different calendars, and it's not 11/11, 11 first of.
Yeah, but they would still, and that's that 1111 portal that I was talking about.
I mean 11/01. I'm sorry, 11/01. That was 11. So it was 1/1/1, 3 ones.
Oh, it's 111.
First of
Okay.
11th, yeah.
Okay. So that right. It's November. That was a
1st of November.
yeah, and that was a portal that was open, but there was also a another major portal on 11/11, right? So this portal here is opened, and it's again, it's based off of where the planets are and how they're moving, and whether a planet is in retrograde or not in retrograde, and which ones are in retrograde. And so this portal lasts for 2 months. So again, while some people might have felt that before the 1st November 1st, other people may not have felt it until maybe the 6th or today. But if you're meant to feel it, you will feel it. It doesn't really matter where you are and whether you go with this calendar or not, because that portal's open. So for another culture, it might mean something else or be described as something else. But if they are connected, which most, especially indigenous cultures, they will be aware of the portal, even though it won't have this name.
The same symbols.
Right. They'll be aware of it. It'll just be a different, something different. Yeah. So this is, and again, we're going into this winter season which we're already kind of in it. So this is a time where you would go in and you would look at your heart desires, your destinies, the things you want to manifest, the things you would like to change. This is a time where you do go in, and that because then spring's going to come and you're going to flourish. The stuff that you're wanting to cultivate is going to bloom come spring. So
Sounds
this
so
is
good.
the time. So this 2 months, it's really going to be more than 2 months, but yeah. Does that make more sense?
That sounds amazing, actually. I'm ready, but I'm a little scared. Yes. I had also a very tough weekend. It was heavy. I just the Thanksgiving and the 4 days I was home, but I was so tired, and I did a lot of meditations, but I just was crying like, and yeah, full moon Monday. I don't know if it brings especially amount of emotions for me or water, but I wasn't desperate. It was just I was realizing something, and all of a sudden the tears were pouring my cheeks, and then I was fine. And then I went to do something else, and later on again the same thing. It was like waves of emotions. And my brain, I noticed my brain, like Eckhart says many times, your brain will try to figure it out and put some kind of negative meaning to it. So don't hold on to the story, let your body go through it, feel it, and kind of let go whatever the energy is needing to work. And I remembered that because normally in the past I would get in so much trouble by trying to figure out a person that hurt me and why I feel so bad. It must have been this event. So I was trying to, make sense, rationalize my negative, heavy feeling. And many times I was very wrong. And I made decisions based on that were not really like breaking up with someone or not calling someone or being upset because my brain needed the negative explanation for the energy.
But this time you processed it differently,
Right.
which is good. That's how you should process it. The more attention you give to it, it's just your pain body. Your pain body is dissolving. So it's coming through as tears, right? Your pain body is dissolving. The more attention, because you're doing meditation, the more attention you're giving to your inner body, the more you dwell in your body, the more you're able to dislodge whatever that pain body is. And it's just coming through, and let it come through. And at some point in time, all the tears will go away. You wouldn't have this much of an emotional reaction to things. It'll go away, right? Because of that sustained attention. That's what Eckhart says, right? It's the sustained presence, the light of consciousness, like a flashlight. The more you shine the light of consciousness, the more it all dissolves, all the accumulation. You don't know how much ancestral trauma you may be holding. And
That's true.
release.
Carrying stuff a lot. And I know Kelly was talking once in the past that tears can be very purifying. So I remember that I was actually, oh, they weren't just that, negative pain body tears that just draw me back to my past. They were kind of refreshing and tears, even though, it still wasn't super pleasant, but I embraced it differently, if I may. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but
You are. That's awesome. Good work. You're going through that portal correctly, right?
and
Transformation.
it's also I did a speedy course on the 13 episodes of Rewired within 1 day. So I was loaded with
the information.
It kind of put it all together, even though I listened to kind of each of those episodes in different interviews that he had. But in this show, in this series, they really tied it all together. And I really loved the way he executed it, the way, oh my God, talks, it was incredible. And the visual and the music, superb series. I highly recommend it. So thank you for, bringing it to us, our attention.
Most welcome. You're most welcome. So last time when we met, I was going to ask Kelly a question. So Kelly, I do see like some kind of transformation in you. Like sometimes you're so glowing, like there's like a light this past couple of months. So what has changed? I would like to know what is the secret. what is this Botox treatment that you're getting? Or what is this
Oh, well, are you
plastic
talking about-
surgery?
That's hilarious because actually the last like month or so actually has been very intense for me. And when I've gone to teach classes, I look in the mirror and I just see someone that looks sad. So when you tell me that I'm glowing, I'm like, really? I'm like, I'm glad someone else sees me that way.
Because even
Yeah.
I noticed it, so I noticed it sometimes on your videos that you post, or I noticed it when you were presenting at the workshop. But when everybody was there, I was not comfortable like bringing it up, and y'all were like so intensely into your delivery of your workshop. So I said, no, I'll tell her later. But then it's been postponing until I told you last time. But I wanted to find out. So if you want to, so that people can apply the same teachings, you've done something that looks like a Botox treatment.
Oh, well, that I don't know. That's just to be honest, I'm blessed with really good genetics. Like my dad, like I take after my dad's side. So yeah. I mean, I've been using other different facial products which are like helping my skin. I don't know if that's it's a local lady that makes them. So I like her stuff. I did change the way I started. Was starting to eat differently. It wasn't that I wasn't eating well, but there was I don't know, like the last few months there's been a lot of new things for me, like different information. I've started studying like quantum biology, so it's a really interesting link how that people are starting to understand what your fascia does and actually how your body is more magnetic than it is biochemical. So there's been a few like things like with eating habits that I've changed because quantum biologically your body needs more fats actually and protein. And so I actually upped my fat and my protein intake. So, which also helps with collagen production and that kind of thing. So I've actually felt better, like my digestion. I'm not on a diet per se because this isn't how it works. But I know like just digestively, like I feel better, like having switched things up a little bit. But energetically, there's been a lot of, I guess what you could call upgrades for myself that I've released a lot. It's probably started back in June. And there's been a lot of things that emotionally I thought I had already dealt with. And it was like, here's another layer. And there's a lot of actually, even physically as well, when I went for live cell analysis, which is an analyzation of your blood. And then when I went for bioresonance, there's like every scan that I had done of my body was that I had unprocessed stress. Because people would say to me, are you not sleeping? I'm like, actually, I sleep great for the last couple of years. I sleep wonderfully. And then they'd ask me all these questions. I'd be like, but I feel good. So why is this still in my physical body? But it was that my physical body was still trying to manifest the same physical things and trying, like, even though I had shifted a lot in my like emotions, but I had a lot of stress still that wasn't processed out of my body. So, and it was showing up in different ways. And so I've been working a lot on that. And that's also helped my confidence because there's been a lot of listening to my own intuition. So listening to your intuition and knowing that when something feels right for you and when it doesn't is such a self-esteem boost, really, because you are not giving your power away to someone else. You might be asking for their support. You might be asking for their help or to try to figure something out, but I'm not giving my power to someone. I'm taking it into myself and going, okay, what do I feel like I need? Like, does this change or does this, test or whatever I'm doing, does that feel right for me rather than doing it from a place of worry where, oh, I'm worried about my health. Oh, I have to do something. Like, it's like I've really stepped back more into myself and just asked myself those questions. Does this actually feel good for me right now or does it not? And if it doesn't, then I'll do something else. And also trying not to see myself as a problem, that I'm a bunch of problems that I need to solve. You know, when it comes to your physical health or your emotions, it's also stepping back and going, yeah, like I have things to let go of, but I don't know everything. So I have to figure out what works for me. So a lot of that has helped my confidence. And then learning how to speak out more is another thing. I mean, having Poonam host the workshops all the time, having a chance to speak on the panel, and then working with other people and just being able to express myself has really helped, because there's been a lot of times in my life where I've kept quiet about things because I didn't think people would believe me or want to hear what I had to say. So having the opportunities and then taking the opportunities and not caring if what I said didn't resonate with people, that's okay. It doesn't matter. Not everything has to, but it was just important for me that I begin expressing myself. So there's a lot of things. That's the Coles Notes version. But thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that.
Awesome. You're doing incredible work. And I wanted you to explain it so that if somebody else wants to follow, like pick up some tweaks that they can do, it's like little tweaks, right? Tweak here, tweak there. And now look, from June to now, you're a totally different person and people are noticing, right?
Well, thank you,
So-
because I actually feel like a totally different person. And then sometimes I have to get used to that I actually feel like a different person, because, you know, my ego will be like, oh, we should go back to being like this. And
that's why Dr. Joe in his meditations, he keeps reminding us, now you're in a whole new body, in a whole new environment, in a whole new time, whole new body, whole new environment. Different ways of saying it, but every
Yeah.
meditation ends with that, so that we are reminded that we are no longer the person we were in June. So
yeah,
thank you. So grateful, so grateful.
well, just to let people know too, that because I've, like, when I teach something, I teach it because I've lived it. It isn't just because I picked it up from someone else and I think it's a good thing to say. It's actually that I want to teach people the tools that I have, because not that everything will work for every person, but everything I teach is from my own lived experience. So
Beautiful. Thank you. I know it helps. Like I see Patricia, right? She try everything, like whatever nuggets that she gets from Lakshmi or April or you or Kelly, she applies it, so it helps immensely. I know Kelly joined. April, you want to explain the number thing? So see Kelly's interpretation of the numbers question. Thank you.
Oh, so Patricia was asking about numbers and why are they important? And I had a post on, and you probably seen it on my group, the Soul Essentials group page, and it was about the portal on November 1st. So it's 111. And her question was, well, how is that important? And then it, like, how is it November 1st here, but in Sweden, it's not November 1st. So how are these people going to use that portal? How is it going to be effective for them? But then Kelly came and I talked about it, but then Kelly explained that, the portals are a lot of times open before they're open, and they're open after they're open. But not only that, but you could watch a YouTube video months later and you could still get that energy, because like Poonam said, all time exists. So, but the confusion was, there's many cultures that don't have our calendar. So how can they use that portal if they don't know about it? And like, there were several spiritual groups that have done large collective meditations trying to heal the planet. But how does that work if they're not aware of the portal or whatever? So that's basically where the confusion was on the dates. And then what do these numbers mean and why are they important? And then I kind of went into, it's the planets, it's where they're located, it's the gravitational pull, it's the Schumann resonance, solar flares, that kind of stuff. We're ready. Better get your pencil out.
Thank you, April.
Well, this is basic particle physics. So this is all about frequency and vibration. Doesn't matter if there's another culture somewhere that doesn't have our calendar. Portals such as the November 11th one, like the cusp between astrological houses. You have days before and after where the buildup of the energy leading up to the specific day or days, the energy is coming in long before you actually get to the convergence where everything is focused. Afterwards, you have the echoes and the ripples from that convergence expanding outward after the specific portal. It's like dropping a pebble in a bucket of water or in a pond. The force, the momentum of that pebble traveling downward is like the energy coming in towards one of these portals. And then when the pebble makes contact with the water, that's the moment of the portal. And then the ripples that expand outward are the after effect of the energy that comes in. So even if people do not have the specific calendar, and I know that Eastern Orthodox calendars are very different than our Western Julian calendars on the planet. And even with that being the case, the thing is that it doesn't matter who you are on the planet, what day it is, these energies are coming in. And you'll feel their effects and you'll absorb their information and their energy, regardless of how conscious you are of them or not. You don't have to be on a specific vibration to access the information or to absorb it or to receive it. It doesn't work that way. This is information that's coming onto the planet, period. So anyone who's on the planet is going to absorb the information, the energy, and the light codes from energies coming in through portals, even if they're completely unconscious, even if they're walking around as a non-player character. People are here to absorb information, to learn how to process information and how to grow. And portals facilitate this. This is part of the structure of the universe, the actual particle physics of the universe. It is like a divine breath where everything is contracting and expanding, rising and lowering. And we receive very specific information through the stargate that our sun is. And that allows that information from the central sun that our sun is connected to through quantum entanglement, if you will, brings all of that divine information, all of that high frequency information of the evolution of the central sun all the way through our sun to our planet. You can be anywhere. You can be in a cave. You can be in a forest on the BC coast. You could be in Kathmandu. Doesn't matter. You are going to receive the information through this portal. The numbers are important because they have relevance to the frequency and vibration and the type of information, the type of energy coming in. And there are certain specific divine beings that are actually connected to specific frequencies in order to make sure that people integrate, and that's just basically their job. They're like, UPS, to put it, in a very simple term. They're like a courier service, a very important courier service, but these beings who are bringing this light and information onto the planet through these portals and at these specific vibrational frequencies, that's just who they are and that's just what they do. And people who keep seeing certain numbers, like the whole synchronicity thing, it's because they are opening up to a new level of information. And always the question is, is the person actually ready for it? Are they actually going to be able to integrate it? And this is one of the reasons why paying attention to astrology and the stamp of in our own personal makeup astrologically in terms of our personality is really important, because this is, again, particle physics. Just like coming through the sun, just like coming through the Stargate, coming through these portals, these energetic portals, this is information that we can receive because we're on the planet. And when we understand our own astrological makeup in terms of the houses, the time, the sequence, we begin to understand the vibration, like what April was saying about the positions of the stars and the planets. This is like different. If you have a big telescope and you have all of these lenses that you can slot into the telescope to refine the energy, to refine the view, or the way that light penetrates the lenses and actually gets to your eye, and the way that you receive information. This is what's going on with these numerical signatures, or these energy signatures, in our own astrological makeup. This is the same thing with numbers. Very specific numbers and combinations of numbers have importance. Some of them are master architect numbers, some of them are master transformation numbers, some of them are gross numbers. They all mean something different. So it's important to educate ourselves about the framework of these types of energies, because when you look at your astrological chart, that's what your astrological chart reflects, is the time and the space and the energy that you were focused into through that telescope and all those lenses into your body, into your 3D self. How's that?
What is the best thing that they can do on that day? Like if she sees a post from April 11/1, it's like a day of prosperity or bringing in prosperity. What do they do?
On a specific day that has a convergence of energies, taking a few minutes out to, actually research and prep yourself before, so that you understand what the numbers mean, what the energy actually means. And then on that day, regardless of where you are, who you are, you can just take a moment out and actually reflect internally on what the information, like whether it's prosperity or wealth or growth or family or, personal, whatever. You can actually take a moment and reflect, and people should go inward and actually reflect what that information means to them. And if they feel any resistances to any of the information or any of the topics, such as family, friends, job, this, that, and the other thing, travel, healing, whatever, any resistance that they feel will be their guidepost to understand what they need to look at and what the real healing of that energy can actually support.
Awesome. Incredible. Thank you
So-
so much, Kevin.
That was, I can always listen to you forever. So when you told me to go check the research, right? When I picked up my phone, guess what number it was on it? 818. And I was just talking about that I am seeing combination of the number 1, 0, and 8 in different, it's 108 or 801 or 118, or, it's just like, and now it's 818. For some reason, those three numbers, are,
It's a code for you, because I've had dreams about things where I get, instead of like the 3 numbers that I'd see, in the world, I'll get codes. So it's like, like the 818, if it's repeating like 818. So you need to listen and take the combination of what those 2 numbers mean and sort of figure out what's happening in your life. Cause I know there's, there was another time where I got a bunch of codes and I wrote them all down, like in sequence, like it was like, 3, 2, 1, and then there was 4, 5, like, but the way it was coded. So it's like your own, you're receiving codes, like in a way, like if you keep seeing those things.
I tried to play lottery with those, but I didn't even win anything. So it wasn't that. In the beginning, I was like, what am I seeing these numbers? Let's play lottery, right? But no, it wasn't it. So, but this morning, many times I wake up, when I come up, it's after my meditation, because I wake up at 4. And then I do meditation. And then when I actually am ready to get up, I look at the clock and it's 4:44. So that's when you were reading. And I would like to, if you could please send it to me on my messenger, because the chat will disappear. I would be interested to play with it, you know?
4 is a master angel number. It
That's what-
usually means
Go ahead, Kelly. Sorry.
it usually means that you're surrounded by angels.
That's so sweet. Um, but as far as when you were talking about, you know, when you prepare yourself for those special portals, but you also said that even people that are not aware of it, they receive it. So what is the being aware of it? Does it give any advantage to change your life or to live more mindfully? If
Oh, absolutely.
everybody gets it, well, like, why do I need to, right, be aware of it?
Simply because some of us are here to be aware.
Oh. Cool.
And by being aware, it's like, you know, the analogy of Schrodinger's cat, the whole story of Schrodinger's cat.
Mhm.
I've never.
Schrodinger was a physicist, and he had this concept where things only change when you look at them.
Oh, the effect of the witness.
Observer effect.
Observer, right? So his story is this man driving his car, gets pulled over to the police. Police has, can I see, you know, what's in your trunk? Do you have anything in your trunk? And he goes, I think I have a cat. And what do you mean? And the officer goes like, what do you mean? You think you have a cat? It's like, well, I think he's in there. He might be dead. I don't know. Like, what do you mean you think he's in there and he might be dead? It's like, well, I haven't looked. I don't know if he's dead. So the officer looks at him and goes, well, let's open the trunk and look. Cat wasn't dead. He didn't know because he hadn't observed it. Cat jumped out and ran away. Something to that effect. Yeah, it's the whole observer concept. Things only change when you observe them. So by observing the energies and the numbers, you can actually refine the integration and open yourself up to more change, which again is dependent on your intention and the way that you apply your mind to the information. Whether or not you get caught in fear, whether or not you let your shadow hijack the whole integration of information, or whether or not you just observe it and you let yourself feel the information of what it is bringing up, what movies, what stories, and not resisting and diving into the movies and stories and letting yourself feel.
I think this is much better for me. If I am aware of certain things, it's much more pleasant, I would say, way to live versus being tortured by the shadow. Just, you know, not knowing and doesn't make any sense. I'm just suffering, and all I want to do is like suffer more because this is the only thing I know. If I'm actually aware, and thanks to all the meditations and your workshops and energy that we share,
Yep.
it's just those moments of pure awareness. They're so delightful. I don't know, just all I gotta say. I don't even have to do anything with it. Just
That's right.
it is for what it is. Exactly. It's not means to an end. It's just it. I mean,
Yeah, well, the information is there, and your active participation determines on how much you want to be aware of the information. You can just let it be there, and you know, and not do anything about it, not take any time to observe yourself. Or you can sit down and spend some time observing and being more aware.
thank you. Yeah, that's great way to looking at it. I think what was it, Dr. Dwayne Wire said, what did I think I messed up his name.
Wayne Dyer.
Wayne Dyer, thank you. I know something. Like I did what April does sometimes. Names. He said that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yep.
Something like that, right? That's the observer effect, you know?
That also goes back to manifestation, because as you observe, what you observe, your personality is co-creating your personal reality. So the more you observe, where attention goes, energy flows, right? So you're making an observation. If you make an observation on the negative, then you manifest the negative. But when you're making the observation in the positive, compassionate way, then you manifest the compassionate. You were about to say something, April. Sorry.
So one of the biggest perceptions that I have to work on with people, pretty much weekly, sometimes daily, and I do find it to be one of the biggest issues in our soul healing, our dark night of the soul. It's one of the biggest things is how we view our parents. And I just went through this with somebody where got them to change their perception of their parents. We forget that our parents, you know, they have these big titles, mom and dad, and it's very glorious. And it's supposed to mean all these things. And it's supposed to behave in all these ways. But it's just a human. It is a person on this journey, just trying to figure it out, just like you. Just like you. And as soon as they switch that perception, as soon as they're like, oh, wait a minute, they are just a person. And then they compare that to like themselves and they are a parent. And maybe that time that, I don't know, maybe they yelled or they didn't share so nicely or something, right? And they can see like, I'm just a person and I don't always get it right. And my parent, yeah, they're a person and they don't always get it right. And that changing that whole perception, it causes so much release and so much peace. Just to change that one perception of stop holding that parent up here in this like godlike figure and realizing they were just a human trying to figure it out just like you.
You know what that is, April? Thank you so much. Grateful for that pointer. I feel that my son has that. They have an image of who their father or mother should be. They're not actually, you know how Byron Katie says, you are not looking at reality of who this person is. You have a mental image of who this mother should be or father should be, right? And then you're comparing, oh, this person doesn't meet that image. Oh, my father shouldn't be alcoholic, or my father shouldn't be a drug addict, or my father shouldn't have beaten me, or my father shouldn't have, I mean, it goes to the mother too, right? My father shouldn't have done that. My father shouldn't, all these labels that we put on the father or mother, right? The same thing, we put them on a pedestal like they're, because when we are little, they are our gods, right? They're huge and tall and this thing, we're looking up to them. We look up to them as gods, and we put that image as a they have to be these perfect human beings. But no, they've had like unconscious upbringing, right? They cannot. Nobody can act beyond their level of consciousness, as Eckhart says, right? So they couldn't have acted any differently than what they did.
Exactly. But we hold, like you said, these expectations up against them. And then we also hold, you know, we take it personally. Well, there must have been something wrong with me, and that's why they behave this way. When in reality, that was just their patterns, their conditioning, their beliefs, and their consciousness level.
Right.
Because they're just a human on this journey, just like you. And changing your perception of what you're facing, it's huge. And then learning to, you know, go through these events in life. And like you were saying, Patricia, not attaching so much of that story. You're going to have emotions. I just had some today, had some things come up today. I don't get to escape emotions. I had some, I acknowledged them. There was not a comfortable emotion. It was not comfortable, right? I didn't necessarily like it, but I'm also not afraid of it now because I know that I have the skill now. When I can look at it, I can acknowledge it. I have the skills. It will dissipate. It will go away. It will go away. I don't have to run. I don't have to hide. I just simply have to feel it. And as I feel it, then you work through it, you process through it like you did, which is much better. So we have all kinds of fancy numbers around us. We got coping skills. We change our perception. But that is interesting that you keep getting that 108 combination. And I would definitely look that up more.
Where
And
do
you're
I,
getting
where do I
10
look it up? Just Google it?
Yep, you can just Google it. You're getting 108, 801. You're just getting that 8 and that 1 combination is something for you because you're getting it a lot. So when you get it repeatedly like that, then it is a message.
I think it is because that's where her attention is. Her attention is on
Oh, it could
Lakshmi's. She
could
pays
be
a
that.
lot of attention to, like in the morning you want to repeat Lakshmi's mantras and you keep remembering that it's 108 times, 108 times, 108 times. So exactly what Kelly was saying, right? What is the observer effect? You're paying attention to 108 so much that it is appearing, then you're manifesting it, right?
Mhm.
The
Now you
same
need to
thing,
manifest $108. No.
100, $108 million,
801. Yeah.
or $108
Yeah.
$1,000, right? So
Yeah.
either
But I
one of
do think
those.
that, and that is true. You could be focusing on it. So it's kind of like, like my daughter bought a new car recently, and prior to her buying it, I never really noticed that car. And now I'm noticing that car. She bought a very specific color. It's almost like the color of my shirt. So it's not a usual color, but now all of a sudden I'm seeing that car. So when you are aware,
And that same
and
color,
yeah,
the
your
color too,
attention,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true. That is true. Your attention, your perception, like your brain looks around for the specific thing. And before it was there still, but you weren't paying attention to it. Right now, it's in your attention. So that's why my question is like, is it my brain making it up, or it is significant beyond it and I'm just receiving it? So that was a little bit of the difference, because I know my minds play tricks and they analytical. They really pick up from around what they,
I
look.
would look it up still, Patricia. I would still look it up because it's significant for this part in your life. And then what you'll probably find is that number will change. It'll either dissipate when the message is gone or it'll change. So I would still look it up.
And what I would say is take your attention off 108 and see. Take your attention off mantras for a little while and see if the numbers stop coming into your life. Right?
Reason why 108 is important is
Mhm.
because if you repeat something 100 times such as a mantra, that usually means that you've done more than 100 focused breaths, which changes your nervous system and the way your nervous system operates. So if you do 108, you begin the next cycle. So you don't just stop. You like dropping that pebble in the water, you let the ripple effect happen. So doing 108 repetitions of a mantra amplifies and refines the focus of that energy. And I agree with April that looking up the 818 or the 18, looking up the different variations and what Poonam said about taking your mind off of focusing overly much on 108 is to look up the different variations and to use that as a test to see what actually resonates with you, what you sometimes it's visual, sometimes you feel like a heart pull. I'm usually a visual connection
Me too.
person.
Me too.
So when I'm actually looking at information, I will be pulled visually to a sentence in a book or a number. So use it as an opportunity to look up the information and to feel, to be present with the information and to let yourself feel what you feel in your heart.
And does it source, like look up, I'm gonna use Google. Do I look for which source is coming from? Because sometimes
Get like 5 or 10 different opinions because there are different angles to look at numerology, and different cultures actually have different systems and different information with different numbers.
I know that I played with numerology years back when I was still in Poland. I had a friend that was doing their different numerology readings. She was trained, and
Oh, yeah.
I know they gave me mine thing, but my all birth numbers come to the number 10, which goes to 1. So I am either 10 or 1, depending how the numerology thing. So 1 is there. That's my number.
But 1 and 0, if you look at that binary code, that's the perfect balance.
It didn't feel like it most of my life, but I'll take it now.
This is why going and researching removes the mind or the ego's ability to tell you stories.
Right.
You go and find your own information, your own experience with the information. You remove the ego and shadow's ability to tell you a story.
And then your intuition will tell you if it's truth. You feel the truth versus just some information that doesn't mean anything to you, right?
Yeah, when I research something, I will go and try and find 10 different points of context, so that I have multiple angles to feel the information and to register the information from.
Yes, thank you. And I really enjoy your post about ancient civilization. I watched so many when I was younger, of those documentaries about, from all over the world. But I've never seen certain ones that you posted. So that was fascinating. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I've been fascinated by ancient civilizations my entire life. And I was lucky enough to have a mom and dad that supported me and would buy me historical books and books on legends and myths and all that stuff when I was a kid, to fuel my imagination and, well, also keep me busy during the winter months.
Kept you out of trouble.
Yeah. What about Bermuda Triangle? That was something I remember learning books about, and airplanes disappearing. This is all truth, or this is another one of those sci-fi stories?
Oh, no. There have been ships and planes that have disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle with absolutely no trace. No trace. And some of the stories, the actual evidence that they have for, possible wormholes or portals or whatever, is
extraterrestrial UFO, some taking them away.
I think there's 5 triangles in the world. There's the Bermuda Triangle, there's the Alaskan Triangle, there's the one near Japan, one in the Indian Ocean, and I think, okay, no, maybe the 5th one is there's another one in the Pacific. I think there are 2 in the Pacific. But the Bermuda is very famous because we have documentation for hundreds of years back when the Spanish treasure fleet used to go from the Caribbean all the way back to Spain. You'd have these freak storms happen out of nowhere, and you'd have entire treasure fleets disappear. So it's a well documented thing. It's just like,
and when the treasure disappears, everybody talks about it. When someone
like,
that's something.
Exactly. I lost my favorite set of dinner plates. the ruby encrusted ones. It's just, yeah. But yeah, like when treasure goes missing, people take notice. But yeah.
We can continue the conversation next time we meet in 2 weeks. Sounds good? Because it's getting late. I know people drop.
If Kelly promises to come back, because without him, it's not the same.
Kelly, make sure you
I will
come
do my
back.
best. I'm out here in the country with my dad for at least the next 2 weeks. So sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
We see you in 2 weeks. Perfect.
Wishing your dad,
Speedy recovery.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Eternally grateful.
Thank you.
And I know Lakshmi was saying the same thing about 444, that she sees a lot of 444. So I think we are on to something, right? So many blessings. Much love. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.